And as always, we have another guest host with us today, LaFonda. She is a mom, amazing mom. She's an amazing story. She's a native of Dallas. I'm gonna let her tell you about who she is because nobody can tell somebody else's story. You know what I mean? So, welcome, LaFonda.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here. So, basically, what do you guys want to do?
Everything, just tell us the journey.
The journey? Well, it's been a journey, I can tell you that. I've actually been in Texas been in Dallas for about 13 years.
Okay.
I moved here because when my son was diagnosed with cancer. So I've been here because of Children's Hospital who helped save my son's life. So the journey, when you say a journey, it's very broad. So when I tell you, it has been somewhat of a, more of a, I don't want to say complex because the journey was meant to be. Everything happens for a purpose, for a reason and a purpose. So when my son was diagnosed with cancer, I didn't know how to react because I had a newborn, a 3-year-old, or actually a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And my son was the 4-year-old that was diagnosed with cancer.
Okay.
Yes. And so it took us really fast. We had to move really, really fast because he had Wurm's. It's a kidney cancer. So basically, what it does, it affects the kidney, affects the blood pressure. And I didn't know, I was kind of naive to what cancer was. You hear about it, but you don't know exactly what it is. And until it hits you, you really don't understand. So at the end of the day, I just had to pick up. I moved from Oklahoma. I thought I was gonna be an attorney. But when you tell God what you want to do,
He's got another plan.
he has a whole another plan for you. So you just have to follow the process. So what I did was follow the process. We went through 9 months of chemotherapy, 5 days of radiation, having a newborn, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old going through all of this. My home burst into flames in the midst of it. And then a 1.5 years later, their father was diagnosed with cancer, with leukemia. So with that hit us very hard. But then again, you have to follow the process. You don't understand it. And we all go through different life journeys, different life processes. But at the end of the day, you just gotta keep on pushing. You gotta keep praying, keep pushing along the stumbles of the road. You just gotta keep going. Then he died on our middle child's birthday. He told her he was gonna be at her birthday party the day he died. That next day was her birthday party, but he didn't make it. And unfortunately, it's been even, kind of challenging journey because today, now my children are 13, 15, and 17. But let me tell you something. With God, anything is possible. Because I have a son that's about to graduate in 2 months, early. So at the end of the day,
the one who was diagnosed
the one that was diagnosed with cancer. He is 17 today and graduating early. So at the end of the day, you must keep pushing. You must continue the process. We don't know where we end up, but at the end of the day, if we keep our eyes on that light and on the road of success and keep going, pushing through, even though it may be challenging, you keep going, you keep pushing, you keep going, and you do not give up. You cry along the way, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going. And that's what I try to instill in my children, So it's, been challenging. I actually almost died last year. I was in the hospital for 30 days and lost lost some intestines, some, different things, but you just keep pushing because every one of us have a story to tell. And we all deal with it different ways, but at the end of the day, we'll get through it if we keep living, keep waking up, keep living. And so the one thing that I would say is that my journey is my journey. But your journey is your journey too. And so once you cross over understanding that life happens, then you'll be able to get up and it'll become easier and easier. Because best believe, I cry still. I have those days. but I still must keep going. Because
children
even in the
too.
midst of it, I went to school. People called me crazy for going back to college 3 months into my son's chemo. They were like, how are you going to go to school when your son's sick? Well, the same people that questioned that was at my graduation 3 years later.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you can do it.
Yes,
So don't
you
let
can.
anybody tell you what you cannot do.
Yes, you can.
So, but that's that's a little bit about me.
Following and trusting the process.
Yes, trusting the process. That's what I've learned.
Wow. Well, we're excited to have you as a guest co-host.
Thank
I
you.
think you're going to bring a fun, fresh, new perspective in your life story. I mean, it's inspirational to say the least. So
Thank
you're
you.
amazing. We'll be right back in a little bit.
Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. So I wanted to talk about our guests that are coming on the show today.
Yes.
We have 3 executive producers of the movie Askim, which is still in production. They'll be coming on as our guests today. We'll be talking about their movie, where it's being shot, and what the process is, because I don't know anything about movies. I just know that they're coming on. And I'm excited because we're one of the few interviews that they're doing.
That's awesome.
Such an honor.
Yes, it is.
Right.
It really is. Well, speaking of movies, I have a question for you ladies. Okay, let's dig a little deep. Why do you think that Hollywood restricts representation of Africans in like Black or African movies? Got y'all thinking. Okay, ladies, put your thinking caps on. Come on.
Speaking of they're taking not African-born actors with the original accents to act these movies, and then they're teaching actors or actresses that are in Hollywood already to tweak their accents. Yeah. I see what you mean.
It's a diversity and inclusion is a common issue, not just in film, but whether it's in corporate America or any other industries,
Yes.
right? And I think it's important to have original and authentic voices displayed, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the camera. That's very important. So I think Hollywood, although it's very progressive, they're still, I think, lacking on that diversity and inclusion.
They are. And one movie that comes to mind for me is, did you guys see the remake of Winnie Mandela movie?
Oh, yes.
That had Jennifer Hudson playing Winnie and Terrence Howard playing Mandela. Both amazing actors in their own right, okay?
Enough respect.
However, okay, so Winnie Mandela was not happy with the movie because she felt like, she's like, I'm alive. Y'all could have consulted me.
Ask me questions.
Ask me. If you're going to do a movie about me, let me
Right.
tell you the movie. So that's an example of telling our stories from your own perspective, right?
And not from the true.
Yes. And then also the accents, you guys. Terrence Howard couldn't even say, a main part of Mandela is his, phrase where he says, Amandla.
Yeah.
And Terrence Howard said, Amandla.
No.
I love Terrence Howard because I watch Empire. I love Terrence Howard. But in that one, what do you think, LaFonda?
No, it takes away from who true Africans are.
Yes.
So it's not giving the authentic,
Yes.
authentic personnel of who an African is.
Because in South Africa, there are amazing actors and actresses. And if they just dug a little deep, they would find somebody who looks and speaks and probably from the same village as Winnie Mandela.
And I know the thing is like to put the big stars on screen to sell the tickets, but they could have like incorporated
some other actors.
at least talk to Winnie. Have her tell you her story.
Have a consent to use that.
Exactly. Well, that's why we really appreciate the producers of the movie that are coming up next, because they're going to talk a little bit more about representation and the importance of inclusion in movies. So stay tuned for that next segment.
Welcome back to our episode, and we have some wonderful movie producers in the house. There's a movie that's coming out, I think, early next year, and the movie is called Askim, and we have the producers of the movie in our studio today. Hello.
Hi. Welcome. So excited to be here.
Yay. We're so excited about this movie and excited about what you guys are doing. Can you tell the viewers a little bit about the movie and how the idea came about to even start one?
Well, I think the whole concept of the film and its blueprint started with me. Because I wrote the screenplay. It was a 150-page screenplay. Wow. It was going to be shot in black and white. I still want it shot in black and white with some hard color to it. And I had chopped it down to do a short film. So it was a film that was going to be kind of similar to what Casablanca was, along those lines with dialogue and that kind of style of dialogue. And then I got together with Lumbie and I told Lumbie, I said, read this. And she read the short film and she's like, I want to be a part of this. So Lumbie's thinking, I hope he doesn't think that I want to be the lead actress. I'm thinking, I hope Lumbie isn't thinking she's going to be the lead actress. Because this lead actress is 24 years old. Right. So, so when we got together at a cafe, she said, I said, well, I want you to join in as an executive producer or producer.
Wow.
And, to help me out in getting this thing funded. Because I know you have a lot of connections. And so she says, that's what I wanted to be, producer. So the inception started with me.
Okay.
And from there, Lumbie helped me to make it grow into something very, very different. It went like 360 degrees, so I had to rewrite the whole thing all over again.
It was a total rewrite.
Yeah, it was.
It was. So I made it more of an interracial screenplay, because if I did it like 1940s, of course, you have a lot of Caucasian people acting in it.
Right. Yeah.
And so when Lumbie was showing me different actors, I'm like, that would be very interesting to go that route with it, especially with today's climate of political climate today.
Right.
So that's really something that's going to be enticing not only to investors or anybody that wants to donate in this picture. So we're about to talk about that.
Amazing.
Awesome. So we kind of heard how the two of you got connected. How did the three of you now come together as a full team?
I think we got started, Tony was making a film, so I was helping him out with that film, because I previously directed a film before. So he brought me on. We've been close friends for a while.
Okay.
And Lumbie was in his film acting. So we were like, let's just get together and see what happens. And ever since that happened, that film didn't go through, unfortunately, but that just happens all the time.
Right.
But we got a closer bond together, and we've been together ever since. And it's just been a wonderful journey.
We go like way back, when we used to go, like probably in the 2000s or 2007.
Early.
2007. Yeah, that's a long time. Oh, wow. We became friends, then kind of connected, kind of stayed in touch on social media. So that made it easier now that we're thinking of filming this movie to come together again and say, you know what, let's do something and make it actually more fruitful and productive and just do it.
Right.
So that's what we're doing now, and it's going to be exciting. I think.
Yes, it is.
You saw the screenplay, I mean, it's just amazing.
Oh, wow.
So speaking about the screenplay and the film, what would you say you want the lasting message of the film to leave with the viewers? What would you want? What do you think the message is to those viewers?
To me, it's a message of love.
Okay.
Because that's what the movie is about. Askim is my love.
Oh.
You know, that's what it means in Swedish. It's my love. And then in Turkish, it's a sweet friendship, which can lead to loving. You know, I love you.
Oh, wow.
So we wanted to communicate that message, even though the movie itself has a kind of a turn and a twist to it. It becomes a bit controversial as far as how far would you go for love?
Okay.
You know, how far would you go? Because this love is like inseparable.
Okay.
These two individuals, Celeste and Dorian, are inseparable.
Oh, wow.
It's like nothing should come in between them.
Right.
Nothing. That love should be left alone, untempered. Because if you do, I mean, it's just because like a revolt almost. But it's really a message to everybody to say, let's love each other, and if you love someone, you want to protect them.
Right,
How far
right.
would you go? How far would you really go to protect that love?
Exactly. It's do you want to be more powerful? Which the main character Dorian pursues a political career, but at what price? Are you willing to sell your soul, your humanity, and your dignity to do that? Or is love more important? And in the end, the ending is it kind of borders on Oliver Stone controversy to the violence coming from Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino. So it's but then the love story kind of comes a lot into play, like Casablanca type love story. But it goes deeper than that. I'm not going to give that secret away.
So is this gonna be shot here in Dallas or?
All over Dallas,
Okay.
very luxurious locations.
Oh.
I don't know if anything like this has ever been attempted by first-time feature-length filmmakers, because we have experience in it.
Right.
He's done a feature-length film, but the size and the scope of this is so huge that you just don't get up one day and say, "Well, I'm going to shoot a movie." It takes time to do that, and the most important thing about shooting a movie is you have to pre-production is the most important part of it, and everything will collapse if you don't do that just right. So that's what we're doing in getting this whole thing planned out just right, and I'm still working with the script and cutting it down and breaking it down, but this is the starting process right here of getting it funded, making the word spread out, and people could participate.
Awesome.
So has casting started?
It has not started just yet,
Yeah.
But we are gonna start hopefully pretty soon. We want to get the funding in place first, That way we can hopefully get somebody that somebody that you already know on screen, something like that. And we like to do a lot of local talent, because there's so much local talent down there. It's not just here in Dallas, but it's in Texas also. So, we want to get that out there and, get people known.
Yes.
So obviously there's going to be a lot of people watching who are going to take a lot of interest in this film. How do they get in touch with you guys? How do they find out more about what's going on, when casting it will take place, and all of that kind of information?
Well, we do have social medias up, working on that currently also. When we do casting call, we'll blast it to everywhere. We'll hold it, locally, and people will come in. I'm sure some people will be wanting to come in from out of state. They're more than welcome to. The more the merrier is better. So
do you have a trailer already in place?
No, there's no trailer in place. And that's kind of going into the shooting process of this. I planned to do it kind of like the way the foreign filmmakers did their films,
Okay.
where they'd get some money, they'd go out and shoot, then they'd go back to the drawing board, get some money, go out and shoot more, until their films were complete. That's the way Stanley Kubrick did his films, because they were just so controversial. So that's how we're planning our film, is doing it in phases where it only involves 2 characters. And then it gets bigger. It now involves 5 characters, so many pages, until we get to the bigger sets, which a place like the Adolphus Hotel Ballroom, they already said, well, you can use it, but we need you to have your insurance in place.
Okay.
And that could cost a lot of money.
Oh, right.
And so
The Adolphus, yeah.
the Adolphus Hotel to a Corsicana mansion, the Ginsburg mansion out in Corsicana, everything just has to be timed right. They're willing to help these very, very wealthy people. And also locations like the Bass Hall and the Botanical Gardens in Fort Worth and Dallas. But we have to have our ducks in line with insurance.
Right.
All those. It's a business.
Yes.
And everybody, that's why we want funding in place, is because the people that have gone out to get into this business went to school to pour thousands of dollars in getting that education.
Right.
And this needs to be a living for them. So that's the one thing that somebody, a cinematographer, always told me is never have them working for free.
Yeah.
And that was Fernando. That's true. That was Fernando Arguelles. And Fernando, he works on a lot of television shows that are known on CBS and NBC. And in my networking, they were always reading my scripts and they said, you got to do something bigger than this. And you've done short films, go do something bigger. And so, but just be sure people get paid.
Yes,
It's a
that's
business.
true.
And it costs money to do make-believe.
It does.
And I know there's a lot of people doing horror, stuff like that. We wanted to do a different venture of this. So it's so easy to do a horror. It takes skill to do horror, to make it correct and right. But for Tony's first film, we wanted this to be a grand film.
Yes.
So,
And it sounds like it will be.
Because get to a point where you want to produce something that people can see and actually admire and appreciate. So
That's right.
I think this is the time.
so
Definitely looking forward to that.
Oh, wow.
Getting the word out and getting.
Oh, we'll get the word out for sure. Once that trailer comes out and once the casting comes out, just let us know.
Yes,
We'll definitely share it on our social
Definitely be sure
media.
to send it our way.
Yeah.
We wish you guys absolutely all the best. We look forward to
To
watching
seeing them at the
movie.
Canes Movie
Film
Festival.
Festival.
That's right. We hope to see you guys there.
That's where we're going. Yes, yeah.
that's the plan.
That's the plan.
Well, thank you so much again for coming on our show. We greatly appreciate it. We look forward to hearing more from you guys.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to my favorite segment of the show, which is Hot Topics. So we have a problem, Mr. Tyler Perry. Who kills Medea?
Oh my goodness.
Nobody kills Medea. Medea is like a household name.
Yeah, she
It's so sad that
It is
Medea's
sad.
dying.
I'm gonna definitely be sad. I love her.
Yes, she'll be missed.
Very much
But I think I
so.
have my suspicion on who kills her.
Oh,
Her brother. He's
Yeah.
been threatening every
Yeah.
single movie he's been
Yeah, they do not get along.
No.
she's not going down withoad a fight, though.
No,
Mabel,
you know it's gonna be
Mabel ain't going down without a
Yeah,
fight.
you know it's gonna be a fight.
You know, he's been playing Medea for like over 20 years.
Yes.
Like, I'm so sad. And Medea was actually inspired by like his mom, as well as like Eddie Murphy in like Nutty Professor. So it's kind of a big deal. And you're from New Orleans.
Yes, I am from New Orleans. So for us, any New Orleanian, true New Orleanian, would have Tyler Perry stage plays in their house, like more than one, you know? So for Tyler to kill Medea is really like
dramatic. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But you know what? I get it. You know, he's been playing her for 20 years, and maybe it's time for him to transition into, you know, something else, something
I think so
different.
too. I think so
different
too.
direction.
But he's gonna be missed.
Yeah.
Definitely, she's gonna be missed.
She
Definitely,
is.
definitely.
I'm sure he'll probably put her to come and haunt someone from the grave.
I think so.
Do you guys
think so.
have like a favorite Medea part or anything like in a movie? I'll tell you mine.
I know mine.
My favorite is in, I think it's Medea's Big Family Reunion.
Family
or something,
reunion? Yes.
Where Kiki Palmer is a little like bad girl
Oh,
in the
yes,
bed.
honey.
And then Medea says something like, Moses walked on water. And Kiki Palmer's character's like, no, she didn't. Then he's like, read your Bible, little girl.
Is it the Diary of a Man? No, it's not the Diary of a Man, but the one where she throws the grits. She goes, the grits
Oh, that's the same one. That's the same one. That's the one I was
grits are on
thinking
the
of.
stove, Lisa.
Yes, see, that's the one. That's the one.
Oh my gosh.
But she don't know what she was dressed for
no.
a funeral or wedding. Yes, that's it. That's it.
That's amazing.
That has kept our 20 years. That's
Yeah.
like-
I know. That is
There's
a long
longevity.
time.
There's
Yes.
not that many characters.
Maybe
No.
there's something new that he's bringing. So, you know, hopefully
think
there's something
so.
new.
Hopefully.
Yeah, with
think
Tyler
so.
in that huge studio. Oh,
You never know.
I
You never
know.
know.
He's
They're
up to
cooking.
something. He is up to something, that's for sure.
Yes.
So, another hot topic, ladies? So, can you come up with something?
Okay, well, this one, I'll talk about this because this is one of my favorites. You guys, there's a sequel coming for
yes.
Mary Poppins.
Love.
Oh my gosh. Anyone who knows me knows I love me some Mary Poppins.
Julie Andrews is the bomb.
Yes.
In all her movies.
So it's and it's not even a remake. It's like a sequel. It's like Mary Poppins is coming back.
Right.
And who's playing it? Because I saw that trailer.
Emily
She's an
Blunt.
Emily
And
Blunt.
I love
wow.
her. I love her.
Favorite
So
song from Mary Poppins?
Mine wasn't.
Yeah. Just a spoonful
Full of
of
sugar.
sugar.
go down. I medicine go down. Medicine go down. No, that's gonna be awesome. You know what I like?
Yes.
I like that so those are like feel-good Disney movies that we grew up
Yes.
on. And I like that this generation of kids is gonna get to know Mary Poppins
Yes.
all over
Yes.
again. Right?
And they need to. We need to bring something back.
Yes.
Something that the kids can actually get into, because all this other stuff I can't really relate to.
There's
but
too much PlayStation and
yeah.
Xbox
Bring
360
something back that
and
the kids
Snapchatting and it's too much.
Too much. Too much.
Gone are the days where you just put those old VCRs where you put the
The tape in. Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
rewind.
Yes.
You have to blow it, you have to open it.
Girl. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
We are kind of old school, aren't we?
Yeah, we
That's
are.
okay, that's
But I
okay.
miss those days.
Yes.
So I'm glad Mary Poppins is coming
I'm
back.
excited for
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah, I'll be in Zimbabwe when it comes out, but please believe I'll be shoving people out the way on the plane. I gotta go.
Let me see.
Well, LaFonda, thank you so much for coming and hosting with us this
absolutely.
episode. And let not be this be the last episode.
Absolutely
Please
not.
come back.
I
You're
definitely
always
will.
welcome to come
Thank
back. And I
you.
hope your experience here was great.
Absolutely. It is amazing just being here. It's an honor being here. You guys are absolutely beautiful. I love you guys. And I definitely just pray for each and every one of you.
you so
definitely.
much.
This was
Thank you.
amazing.
We appreciate it. Now, where
Yes.
can people keep in touch with you if they want to, know more about you? We know that you've written a book. So how can people find out more?
Well, you can go to my Facebook. It is LaFonda Roberson. And then you can also go to my Instagram. It's also LaFonda Roberson.
Okay.
And so that you're able to see different updates and different things about me. And then my email, I don't know if I can give that.
Yeah, you can.
It's lafondaroberson@gmail.com.
Perfect.
So you
This is
definitely
a
should.
platform where you can do anything.
Well, I love it. I love it.
Thank you everyone for watching this episode, and we'll be back with amazing guests come on the show. It's going to be exciting, and thank you for all your support and all for those who watch the show. We really appreciate it. And actually, we forgot to mention a little while ago, we were nominated for 2 awards. One of them was with Zim Achievers Awards, and it was based in Washington DC. And last night in London, England, they just did the
Zimbabwean International Women's Awards.
There you go. And we were nominated there. So just those nominations to us,
Mean a
that's
lot.
huge. Yes. So thank you so much for watching this episode.